Good morning. It's good to be back with you. I'm Reverend Rafe Ellis, Senior Minister and Spiritual Leader of the Center for Spiritual Living Common Ground in Central Maryland. Today is June 6th. And it is good to be back from vacation. And so, what we do here normally, and I appreciate your patience just having the reading while I was away. And so, this morning we will listen to the reading, share perspectives, uh, practice meditation for 5 minutes, and then I will close this out with a spiritual mind treatment. So let's get started. Reading for June 6th. Science of Mind, A Philosophy, a Faith, a Way of Life by Ernest Holmes. Reading from page 461, paragraph 2, through page 464, paragraph 1, using inclusive language. The two sons. In presenting the parable of the prodigal son to his listeners, Jesus began by saying that the Father, which is the universal Spirit, had two sons, meaning that as the children of God, people have the right of self-choice. This carries with it the possibility of an apparent duality, but of course not a real one, and the possibility of experiencing good and evil. Moses referred to the same thing when he said that he had set a blessing and a curse before the children of Israel, and they must choose whom they would serve. The two sons referred to in this story allegorically denote the two states of consciousness necessary to real individuality. People are a conscious, self-knowing mind equipped with volition and choice. They are an individual and can do as they choose. God does not argue. Luke chapter 15, verses 11 through 32. A certain man had two sons, and the younger of them said to his father, Father, give me the portion of goods that falleth to me. And he divided unto them his living. When the younger son asked for his portion of good, God did not argue with him, did not try to dissuade him, did not suggest that he was using bad judgment. God never argues. To argue is to suppose an opposite, and God has no opposite. We argue to arrive at a correct conclusion. God is already the correct conclusion of all things. Therefore, it does not need to argue. Plotinus tells us that nature never argues, that it contemplates itself, that its contemplation creates a form through which it may become expressed. Undoubtedly, this is the whole meaning and process of creation. And he divided unto them his living. There was no argument. God did not tell the son that it would be far better for him to remain at home. It did not say that he might come to want and suffer, perhaps starve. It did not tell him anything. It divided unto them its living. The universe gives us what we ask. Experience alone will teach us what is best to have. It divided unto them its living. No clearer statement of individuality could possibly be inferred than this. The son received exactly what he asked for, no more and certainly no less. The cup of his acceptance was filled from the universal horn of plenty. He could do with it as he chose. The far country. And not many days after, the younger son gathered all together, and took his journey into a far country, and there wasted his substance with riotous living. When the son had received his share of goods, he went into a far country. We are all in this far country, for it symbolizes the descent of the soul, or the outer rim of spiritual existence. It does not mean a place, but rather a state of consciousness. If God is omnipresent, we cannot escape the divine presence. So this far country means a state of consciousness which has separated itself from the eternal good. The true meaning, I believe, of the far country would be a conscious separation from God, an isolated state, one in which there appears to be no remembrance of God as an actual, living, and ever-present reality, one where the person feels themselves to be separated and entirely apart from the eternal good. This far country has as real a meaning today as it had in the hills of Galilee nearly 2,000 years ago. For all of us have come from heaven, and nearly all feel this isolation of this seeming apartness from the eternal good. Indeed, the whole endeavor of humankind is to return to the Creator's house. Why we are in want. And there wasted his substance with riotous living. And when he had spent all, there arose a mighty famine in that land, and he began to be in want. When one separates themselves from the divine fire, they become an isolated spark. We are strong only when united with life. As soon as our consciousness is detached from spiritual wholeness, we can no longer draw from that inexhaustible reservoir of eternal existence. So we become exhausted. There is nothing to fall back upon. Life is one perfect wholeness. The universe is a unit. God is one. It is impossible for people to feel separated from the Spirit without feeling lost and in want. This is why Jesus said he could do nothing of himself, but could work only as the currents of divinity ran through his personal mentality. That subtle something which runs through all things and which we call the thing itself, that energy without which nothing can be energized, that life without which nothing can live, that power without which nothing can move, and that spirit without which nothing can be, is God. It is only as we live in conscious union with the Spirit and consciously let it work through us that we really live. The fallen man. So the prodigal son began to be in want, and he went and joined himself to a citizen of that country, and he sent him into the fields to feed swine. The symbolism here is most interesting, for it perfectly depicts the state of humanity while in the far country. The citizen referred to means the attempt on the part of a person to find some cause outside of spirit. People seek to league themselves with material forces alone, not realizing that there can be nothing outside the unity. Most of us seek the cause in the effect and unknowingly put the cart before the horse, not realizing that the flower is already in the seed and that effects must follow causes. There can be no true alliance apart from life, and no good apart from a unity with the whole. And he sent him into his fields to feed swine. Jesus was a Jew, and Jews did not consider the meat of swine lawful to eat. Consequently, he used this term to show how completely the prodigal son had fallen from his high estate. He must even be compelled to feed the despised swine. This demonstrated that his state of being was so low that it would be impossible for it to be any worse. It had reached the outer rim of reality. All right. So there's a lot going on there. um, the story of the prodigal son is very interesting. Um, when we take it in context, when we understand that it is an allegory, it is a story to teach us a lesson and to relate the characters as states of consciousness, right? We have all been the prodigal child. We have all been the father. We have all been the other son. Um, and it's also a lesson in the givingness of creation to itself, that all we have to do is ask, and the answer is yes. That there's never an argument, there's never a delay, there's just yes. Um, and then the story plays out to demonstrate that sometimes what we ask for isn't always in our best interest. And we don't know that until we learn that from the effect of what we're asking. Um, to me, one of the most brilliant parts of this reading is at the very end, where it's talking about the flower is already in the seed, right? And too often, what happens in our human brain, in our socialization, is that we make a choice. The choice is the seed. And everything that we are going to experience as an effect, as an outcome of that choice, is in the initial choice. It's not in the other people, it's not in anybody that is engaged with us in the unfolding of that choice. The choice is the seed, and everything that grows from that seed is in the seed at the very beginning. Just like if you plant potatoes, you're going to get potatoes. If you plant watermelons, you're going to get watermelons. When we make a choice, we are planting a seed, and we will get the outcome, the product of that choice. And I invite you to consider not blaming anybody, and to recognize that that blame only comes up as an option when we dislike the outcome of something. When have you ever blamed somebody or something outside of you for a magnificent event in your life? Right? We just don't, as humans. Blame is reserved for those things which we dislike. And it's a way that we avoid or refuse to take responsibility for our own choices. Just because we didn't see what was coming doesn't mean we didn't choose it. It just means we didn't see it coming. We didn't get that this is what was inherent in this seed that we planted. Now, the upside is that there is no guilt, shame, and blame. The key, free will is exactly that. It's free, free to use, and free from guilt, shame, and blame. It doesn't speak about it right here, but it relates back to, when Ernest Holmes said, we're not punished for sins, we're punished by them. And that simply means we experience the direct outcome of our choices. We experience the product that was in the choice in the beginning of the choice. And so there is freedom. I, I don't know that I have the words to express how much freedom I have found in just owning. Wow, didn't see that coming. I get how this choice that I made set this in motion, and now I'm experiencing it. Okay, I get all that. So let me choose again. Let me choose something different. I have more information, always understanding that there may be something I'm still not understanding, right? Always accepting that with everything I know in this moment, this is my best choice. So let me make this choice. I'm choosing it. And when I stand in the agency of I'm choosing, when I let go of I have to, I better, I gotta, those are all victim statements. Victim statements. Because, beloveds, we ain't better gotta do nothing. We are at choice. So own your choices. I may not like the options I see, and it's still my choice. Still my choice. Even if I choose none of those options and choose to wait until I see a different option, until I imagine a different option. And then I experience the outcome of waiting. It's powerful when we own that. It's powerful. It frees us from victimhood when we own our choices. And so I invite you to stand in the glorious ownership of your messiness, right? And turn your mess into your message, one choice at a time. All right. So that's all I have. And while whatever fire truck is going by on the outside, we're going to go into our practice time of meditation and contemplation. the breath of life, breathing itself. One source that is the substance of all creation. One substance that is simultaneously mind, source, substance, activity, inseparable from itself. It is infinite possibility, unformed substance, seeking only to express the infinite nature of its being. Infinite ideas, infinite expressions that align with each new idea of itself, with each individualized, purposeful, never to be repeated desires to experience itself as. That each idea of the infinite is a seed of the infinite, and that everything that is to grow as that idea is contained in that seed. Known by many, many names, it is unnameable and cannot be limited to a single idea, which is all a name is. It's a label of a belief system. And this one is each and every label and so much more. And I am made out of it. I am an individualized, one of a kind, on purpose, never to be repeated desire of this infinite beingness to experience itself as this life I call mine. And what is true of me must be equally true of all made from the same substance by the same energy for the same reason, to express an idea, a desire. And so I claim and affirm that within each idea, individualized as life, everything is contained in the seed of that idea. And so everything necessary for the perfect unfoldment of my life is already present and available and active within me as me. And that this same thing is true of every single person, every planet, every place, everything, every idea of creation, perfect, whole, and complete within itself, lacking nothing. And so I claim and affirm that this thing that we have been infused with, called choice, is active, that I take ownership of this activity with full recognition that I am always free to choose and to choose again and to choose again. And I claim and affirm full acceptance that every choice is a seed that contains everything that must grow from that seed. And so I choose and I experience. And as I experience, I am open to be aware at a deeper and deeper level with every choice of the alignment of my choice with the truth of being. The truth of being across all expressions, that innate core beingness. And I choose to course correct. I choose to choose again and again, moving closer and closer to alignment as that harmonious operation of one that is never divided against itself, never argues with itself, never says no to itself, only knows yes, and has already said it. Even before my words were formed in mind and spoken in this English language, that inside of me that is speaking it already knew it and said yes to it. And so this practice of spiritual mind treatment is simply that. It is awakening my spiritual mind, my experience of mind, to a deeper awareness, to a new level of ownership, to an intentional alignment, to the activity of choosing in and as integrity. And I am grateful. I'm grateful for that activity that acts in a lawful way every time, responding exactly the same, no matter who, no matter how, no matter what. It simply says yes, free of guilt, shame, and blame. Yes. So I am grateful for this divine yes in creation. Even especially in my messiness. And so I let go, knowing that it's already complete. I let go. I release any human brain noise that's in the way. I let go of any doubt. I let go of any unbelief. I just let go and receive the effect of this cause set in motion. Ashe. Shalom. Aho. Amin. Amen. And so it is. Namaste.